This is racing in a racetrack, and there's another R word with respect that needs to be utilized out there on the racetrack, and we're not a clown show. Don't screw it up.
And do people listen to you, younger drivers? Do you talk to them? Do you say, hey, buddy, if you have a question for me, come find me, and do they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure my phone number's pretty accessible, but you don't ever really get very many phone calls from the younger guys.
Did you ever reach out when you were younger, or did you learn from the veterans?
Yeah, I mean, I had great teammates at Hendrick when being able to rely on Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, so I was able to utilize those guys, and then also Tony Stewart. You know, he was kind of one that him and I got into it a couple times, not terribly, but just little scuffs here or there, and then we sat down and hashed it out, and felt pretty good after that.
As a veteran that people look up to on the racetrack and off the racetrack, how do you set an example for those younger kids that are struggling to find themselves in Xfinity and trucks?
I think you set the example of how you carry yourself on the racetrack. I don't know that besides well, there's been a few. Let's go with that. The Dale Jr. incident, well, that was an accident, but that happened. The Brad incident that him and I had after he wrecked me a couple times, finally I took it back out on him at Kansas, I think it was. So, there's times in doing that, but it's just that's not how you race every single week and running over all of your competitors all the time. I mean, I looked at the Xfinity race like these guys are all talking about, lap 80, and everybody's car is crumpled and crunched and everything else. Like, they need to go back and remember the days, or at least figure out watching the guys that used to race with steel bodies and how that would affect your day.
Well, some of the young drivers did not have dads to teach them. If you take a Burton or you take even Tommy Baldwin told me, he tells his son, don't race like that. Like, I would let him race like that. You're raising your son. Is that what it's going to take? Is some of the drivers come in that are raised by guys like you or Kevin Harvick who teach them?
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly I think the adage that a lot of dads have is, when these kids start racing, it's wide open, throttle wide open, do what you got to do to win, drive in the corner, shortcut the corner, slam that other kid, knock him out of the way, beat him, and so that's just how they grow up learning from 5, 6, 7 years old. And so once you get into the classes now that Brexton's getting in, which is like 9, 10, 12 years old, that's when you have to lift off the throttle, use the brake, and try not to run over those guys that you're around and racing around, and have some car control and some respect of your space and others' space. And I think that, myself, Kevin, have a higher regard to that stuff. And honestly, there's times where I look at Brexton and he's racing, and I'm like, man, you could have thrown it in there, and he's like, Dad, if I spin the guy out, I got to go to the back. And he's already like, pulling himself back more than I'd actually like him to.
What does he think when he sees that race like the Xfinity Series?
We don't watch it, so we didn't see it.
Is that a thing where like you would ever show that to him? Be like, here's what you don't do, or he just knows that?
I don't feel like I've had to go down that path with him yet, Like, I've actually, in the last 2 years of racing the micros, and I didn't race Bandoleros, but of all the things that we've raced, I've put more parts on my cars than he has on his. You know what I mean? So he's done a really good job. So I don't feel like that's a path I got to go down right now.
Cal, how much fun is it traveling with your son, seeing him race? Does it bring back memories?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. He enjoys it. And so you ask him what he'd rather do, if he'd rather go to the racetrack or go to the beach, and he picks the racetrack every time. But, there's times where it's a lot. It can be, a lot of late nights, and, he needs to do school, and he doesn't want to wake up and do school. He's too tired and this stuff. But, still trying to focus on all the elements that he needs to, not just the racing. But that is the fun part of it, and especially the winning and going to victory lane and having fun with that.
Is it fair to say this is kind of a veteran's track where the more experience you have on it, those are going to be the guys that typically do much better?
I would say so, but some guys just have a natural knack for places too. I know Eric Jones, he came here early on, ever since he first started here, and he ran good. Like, even in the Xfinity cars, just right out of the gate, he ran good. My first race here, I finished second, in the Xfinity Series. So I think you can have a knack for places, and other times, you could be better here as the years go by with more reps here and understanding the veterans type mentality of respect the track, respect your equipment, and all that to be good.
Kyle, this is the 10th year at the Throwback weekend, with you being here for all of them, and I'm sure you've seen some of the talk about it losing its luster. I'm kind of curious, where do you stand on that? Do you feel like it's lost its spark over time?
Well, it took 10 years for somebody to finally do a Kyle Busch one, so thanks to William and the team and the Xfinity side, that's pretty cool to finally have one. But when I look at fan reception, I feel like the fans really love it. And even if some of the drivers may think it's a little overblown or whatever, like, it's not for us. It's for the people that are in the grandstands and for their pure joy in just seeing some of the older cool schemes that come back to life in this day and age. So, if they're all for it, trust me, I hear it all the time that I think I've had, of 10 years, I think I might have had 2 or 3 throwbacks. Trust me, I hear it all the time that I don't do throwbacks, and that's not on me. That's just the partners that we're with.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.